hi Martin, and thanks for making it on. How's it going?
Hi Andrea, good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So what is your background, first of all, and what led you to start Bounce Mobile?
Okay, my background was actually originally in financial services. I spent 7 years as a bond trader with UBS, the Swiss bank, and I left that in early 2000, right at the start or right at the height of the dot-com boom, when quitting your nice, safe, stable, secure job seemed like a good thing to do in favor of setting up a software startup. So that's what I did between 2000 or middle of 2000 and 2009 when I moved on from the company that I'd founded.
So let's talk about Bounce Mobile and the Fireplayer. How did this company start out and how did you get involved with it?
So the Fireplayer product itself was actually originally marketed through Orange back in around 2005, 2006. It was quite successful at the time, although it was only on one operator deck and only in the UK. And it was a kind of example of a great product, but where the hardware technology wasn't really there to support it at the time. So technology had actually been kind of dormant for a few years, and I had a connection with the guys who originally created and ran the company. And when I was figuring out what I wanted to do next, it struck me that was a great product, and a lot of the limiting factors of success at the time had basically been removed. So that was, notably the whole App Store model changes everything. You're no longer reliant on going to individual mobile operators to get your product out there on an operator deck, but also the fact that people now consume music through mobile a lot more than they did around 2005, 2006. So those plus a few other kind of key factors made me want to research and basically look into the idea of making that into a viable business that could scale just beyond one operator and one territory.
So the Fireplayer is one application, but you also have the opportunity for other people to commission white label apps for artists. Did the Fireplayer come first for you guys, or did you start with the white label apps first?
No, the whole idea is basically what we're looking at doing is commercializing the technology in the most optimal way. So for me, in terms of actually creating a business that will scale on a global basis, having a platform application, which is what Fireplayer is, was pretty important. So by platform, I'm meaning that there'll be content, more and more content added from a lot of different content providers. It will be available in multiple territories, and it will be available obviously on different device types as well. So whilst it's only iPhone just now, we are working on Android Symbian versions and possibly BlackBerry in the future as well.
So how does the Fireplayer work?
Sure. Okay. So the thing about Fireplayer is what we're trying to do is to make it very easy for people to interact and create and share the music they really love. So we have a reasonably straightforward process of taking the stem content directly from the record label. And what we do is a little bit of studio work on that to take out the most musically significant parts of a track and to put it into the Fireplayer format, which has two different banks of samples that are all kind of looped and quantized on top of each other, so that it's easy to recreate parts of that music and understand it a little bit better, and effectively make your own creations in a sort of in a very easy to use, intuitive way without requiring any musical knowledge.
Was hardware a restriction for you guys? The app is very responsive on an iPhone 4. I've been trying it out for a couple of days now, and the samples are triggered instantly as soon as you touch a button. So have the new processors made a big difference, or does the app run fine on an older version of the hardware as well?
The software seems to work fine on all different versions. Obviously, the quicker the processing speed of the device, the app will run kind of more smoothly. The thing it does seem to make a difference to is some of the load times. So when you've got multiple different sample banks loading up, it will generally be quicker on newer devices. But it's not in any way been restrictive on some of the older devices.
One of the big features of the Fireplayer is that it allows users to share the results of their efforts on Facebook, for example. So did you have any trouble getting the labels to allow you to implement this feature?
Well, we definitely have met some new kind of licensing challenges along the way because the idea that we're using stem content rather than full track downloads, the fact that there are different agreements with the labels, the publishing needed to be thought through properly, and also the streaming. So it'd be fair to say we've had a few challenges, but from a label and publisher point of view, what we're really trying to do is to make it. We've created an alternative digital business revenue model, so it's not cannibalizing any of the current MP3 sales, and in fact, when you look at some of the social and sharing capabilities of the app, it's something that's actually we believe will actually help to encourage MP3 sales.
So you can download the app for free on the iTunes store, and you receive 2 tracks for free preloaded to play with. But you can then buy more tracks, so through the in-app purchase, and that's usually the major label-owned content. So how did you come to obtain the permissions from the artists to give away those 2 tracks? And did you find any resistance from the artists in getting their music remixed by just about anyone?
Yeah, well, 2 points really. There, if you look at a track like the Demons track by South Central, that track has not been released yet on as an MP3. So from the band and the management point of view, this was a great opportunity to actually release the single through an app, but not in the full form. So you get a lot of people playing with it and experiencing and hopefully sharing the music in advance of the track actually being released. So from that point of view, it's very much a promotional opportunity to do it as a pre-release. In terms of the artists and management. Their view of people remixing their content, basically you've got the whole spectrum. Most we found have been like really open and really up for it because it allows people to interact, share the music, and to in some way put their own kind of limited stamp on it as well, in a way that you couldn't do before. Obviously there are some artists out there that don't like people remixing their music, and that's fine. What we're doing is we're selecting and working with the labels to add limited repertoire over a period of time. So if a particular artist is really against having their music remixed, obviously we don't need to feature that and have that on there. There are plenty of others who do.
So how do you plan on keeping up the interest of the users of Fireplayer? So right now the selection of tracks is quite limited, but as you add more tracks, is there any way to make the user aware that these are now available on the platform?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, you're right. We were actually hoping to launch with a little more content. There is actually more going to be added basically every couple of weeks. There's going to be more and more repertoire added, and that's going to be from a combination of majors and indies. And obviously, then now we've launched initially in the UK, but that's going to be rolled out across the EU in the next few weeks, and then globally in the next few months. So in terms of the content in there, the business model is obviously the in-app purchase idea, which is proving the sort of like robustness of business model to the labels.
So you have quite a few competitors on the market. How do you differentiate your app, and why do you think that in the past year there has been such growth in the interest towards interactive music applications?
I think for a long time people have been sort of looking for a way to interact more with their music, and the whole idea of bringing the social networking component to actually share it. So yes, it's fair to say that there are a couple of other companies in the same space. We like to think our positions is sort of more unique in terms of basing it as a platform application with multiple content providers. There obviously have been a lot of artist-branded apps and agency products done as one-offs. What we're doing is we're taking the knowledge from before and a lot of the audio processing side of it and focusing on a platform that will not be just specific to one different artist, if you like, but you'll be able to remix a wide variety of music across it. In terms of actually the new content coming in, obviously we'll be letting people know about that. There's each track that comes on there is an opportunity for us to find fans for that particular music through social media outreach and so on. And we'll obviously be letting them know when stuff is coming through.
So you've only been live for a couple of weeks. I don't want to ask you for any figures, but can you give us an idea of how the public is reacting to the free model with the in-app purchase option?
So the metric we're looking at is the conversion rate. We've actually been quite pleasantly surprised by that. I think there are a number of tweaks that have been suggested in the app around previewing and so on, which we're responding to, and these updates will be pushed out, over the next couple of weeks. It's too early. I want to have at least another couple of months before we talk about any stats, but we've been pretty pleased with the conversion rate so far. The good thing is that we're going to be able to do some specific work around artist promotion and some stuff happening in the UK press within the next couple of weeks behind some quite big artists and so on, and that's that when sort of very, very high profile, very new or possibly even unreleased content is available, then that's obviously what we're going to be tracking the metrics on in terms of free to pay.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, and it was great having you on the show.
Thanks very much, Andrea.